viewers, this is Isha Srivastav and welcome back to my channel Reconnecting Biology with Isha Srivastav. Today we will be doing the second segment of the heart, that is the working of the human heart. In the previous video I have described about the diagram of the internal structure of the heart, and also we have described about the different parts of the heart. In this video I have just drawn the diagram already, just to make sure that we have a lot of time explaining the rest part of the chapter, the rest part of the segment, and not invest time more in drawing the diagram again. Okay. Now, before I start with the explanation, let me just thank my viewers, because it makes me very glad to announce that I have made through 1000 views. The first video that I've uploaded in my channel that has crossed 1000 views, and I'm really glad about it, and I'm thankful to my viewers for watching my videos and also keeping note of it every time I upload the video. So keep motivating, and thank you for showering so much of love and seeing and sharing my videos among your relatives, friends, and also on the social media. So I hope I keep appreciating my viewers and you do the same for me. And okay, so let's get back to the chapter. Okay. So as you know, these are the four chambers. The upper two chambers are the atria, the lower two chambers are the ventricles. This is the right part of the heart, while this is the left part of the heart. Okay. So when I explain the internal structure of the heart, I explain it with reference to myself. Okay, if I'm standing in this way, this side is my right side and this side will be my left side. Okay, so this will be your left part of the heart and this side will be the right part of your heart. The upper two chambers are called as the receiving chambers because they receive the blood from the different parts of the body. The lower two chambers are called as the distributing chambers. The ventricles are called as the distributing chambers because it distributes the blood to the different parts of the body. Okay. So let's get started with the actual flow of blood into the heart, or you can say into the heart and then from away from the heart. Okay, the blood, the deoxygenated blood and the oxygenated blood. How do you define these two terms? The blood that contains more amount of oxygen and less amount of carbon dioxide is said to be the oxygenated blood, while the blood that has more amount of carbon dioxide and less amount of oxygen is called as the deoxygenated blood. Okay, we don't call it as purified or impurified blood. We call it in terms of oxygenation, oxygenated or deoxygenated blood. Alright. So once the blood is deoxygenated while revolving or roaming around in the body, it gets deoxygenated. It collects carbon dioxide from every part of the body and then it is brought back to the right atria. Now the blood is brought into the right atria by three simple means: the inferior vena cava, superior vena cava and the coronary sinus. Okay, the inferior vena cava, superior vena cava and the coronary sinus. From the heart level, let's judge it into the heart level extreme. This is the heart level. Above the heart, every point of body is considered to be the superior part of the body. The blood from the superior part of the body is brought about by the superior vena cava, while the blood from the inferior part of the body is brought about by the inferior vena cava, and it is poured into the right atrium. Now, what is this coronary sinus? Coronary sinus takes the deoxygenated blood from the cardiac muscles. Okay, you can see the walls of the heart, which is called as the cardiac muscles. These muscles will pour in its deoxygenated blood through this coronary sinus into the right atria. Okay, this is how the deoxygenated blood is brought about in the right atria. From the right atria, it pours in the right ventricle through the tricuspid valve. Three cusp-shaped structures are present at the entrance of this right ventricle. These valves are present to ensure the unidirectional flow of blood, which means it is ensured that the blood flows from the upper chamber to the lower chamber and it does not backflow into the upper chamber. Okay, because the heart keeps on pumping, so there might be a chance wherein the heart is pumped and the blood from the lower chamber is slipped back to the upper chamber. So to prevent that or to avoid that, there is a presence of tricuspid valve which will ensure unidirectional flow of blood. Now, this deoxygenated blood in the right ventricle has to go to the lungs for oxygenation. Okay, so this or deoxygenated blood will be taken back to the lungs, not taken back, but it will be taken to the lungs through two pulmonary arteries. These two pulmonary arteries, this part and this part, they are the pulmonary arteries. Okay, it starts from the pulmonary trunk. This pulmonary trunk arises from behind the heart from the right ventricle and splits into two pulmonary arteries. Each of them goes into each of the lungs. Left pulmonary artery goes into the left lung, right pulmonary artery goes to the right lungs. Now, my deoxygenated blood is taken to the lungs. There oxygenation takes place, and oxygenation means simply removal of carbon dioxide and addition of oxygen. Okay, my blood is now oxygenated. Now, this oxygenated blood has to come back to the heart so that it can pump it out to the rest parts of the body. So, it is brought about in the left atria. This oxygenated blood is brought about by the pulmonary veins. 4 pulmonary veins brings about the oxygenated blood into the left atria. Okay. Now 1, 2, 3 and 4. These are the 4 pulmonary veins. They open from behind the heart, or it is the dorsal part of the heart, and these are the 4 openings of these pulmonary veins. Now the oxygenated blood is poured into the left atria. Now the oxygenated blood will flow from left atria to the left ventricle. Same way as tricuspid valve was present here, here bicuspid valve is present. This bicuspid valve is also known as mitral valve, okay, because it resembles the shape of the mitre, that is the Pope's cap, okay, that is why it's called as the mitral valve or simply the bicuspid valve. So it will also ensure the unidirectional flow of the blood. It will flow from the upper chamber to the lower chamber. Now my oxygenated blood is present in the lowermost or the last chamber of the heart, that is the left ventricle. From here, now the blood has to flow to the other rest of the parts of the body. So now the blood will be taken from the left ventricle to the rest of the parts of the body through the biggest blood vessel, major blood vessel, which is called as the aorta. This aorta has branches. Okay, we will not discuss about those branches now, but simply you can say aorta is the largest blood vessel, the blood vessel with the biggest diameter, the strongest, which will carry the blood from the left ventricle to the rest of the parts of the body. Okay, it will split into different branches, and then this is how the blood will flow into the rest parts of the body. This is the process how the blood circulation takes place in the human body. Now, this circulation is called as a double circulation because the structure you have seen in the previous video, and here we are studying actually the double circulation. That was a quick, you can say, flow, or quickly I have described the flow of the blood in the heart. Now, my main motive behind making this particular video was to explain double circulation. For circulation of blood, once in the entire body, the blood has to enter the heart twice. Okay. Now, how the blood enters twice the heart? Once it enters through the right atria from the body parts to the right atria. This is the first time the blood enters the heart, and the second time it is entering through the pulmonary veins from the lungs. Okay. So, twice the blood has entered into the heart, and the circulation of blood is there only once. So that is why it is called as a double circulation. In simple terms, how you can describe, for making the blood flow once inside the body, the blood enters twice into the heart, and that is why it is called as the double circulation. Okay. I hope. Now quickly let's study this in a flowchart form so that you can make a quick recap whenever you want to study, and very quickly you can have that in your mind. Okay. here I am describing about the double circulation in a schematic manner. Okay, this is the body and this is the lungs. Okay, these four extremities are the four chambers of the heart. Right atria, right ventricle, left atria, left ventricle. This is the flow of blood. The blood from the body flows into the right atria through three places, which is called as the inferior vena cava, the superior vena cava, and also the coronary sinus. Inferior vena cava, superior vena cava, and coronary sinus. Now, from the right atria to the right ventricle, the blood is flowing from a valve that is called as the tricuspid valve. Okay. From the right ventricle, the blood flows to the lungs through two pulmonary arteries. From the lungs, the oxygenated blood is taken to the heart, back to the heart through the four pulmonary veins. It is taken to the left atria through four pulmonary veins. From here, it goes to the left ventricle, okay, by the bicuspid valve, okay, and from the left ventricle, finally the blood leaves the heart and goes to the body for circulation through the biggest blood vessel that is called as the aorta. Okay, so where the blood is entering twice into the heart. First it enters at this position, that is from body it enters into the right atria, that is the right upper chamber of the heart, and then from the lungs it enters into the left atria, that is the left upper chamber of the heart. So blood enters twice into the heart for circulation of blood once into the body. It is called as the double circulation. Now this double circulation is divided into two parts. One is the systemic circulation and the other one is pulmonary circulation. Okay, so these both together comprise of the double circulation. The systemic circulation is the circulation of blood through the body parts into the heart. Okay, blood leaves the heart muscles from the left ventricle. It enters the body and then enters the heart to the right atria. This part of circulation which flows from the body is called as the systemic circulation. Okay, from the left ventricle to the body to the right atria is called as the systemic circulation. Now, what about the pulmonary circulation? The term pulmonary signifies the lungs. Okay, so there are certain terms which you can relate with the body parts. For example, the word hepatic stands for the parts of the liver. Okay, when you talk about cardiac something, it refers to the heart. When you're talking about neurological terms, it means simply you're talking about the nervous system. Okay, so the brain and the spinal cord. And here when you're talking about pulmonary, this term refers to the lungs. Okay, so the circulation of blood which crosses the lungs or which involves the passage of blood through the lungs is called as the pulmonary circulation, which means the blood that flows from the right ventricle to the lungs and from the lungs back to the left atria. This part is known as the pulmonary circulation. Okay, so there are two parts. One involves the blood flow through the body and another involves the blood flow through the lungs. When it passes through the body, it is called as the systemic circulation, and when it passes through the lungs, it is called as the pulmonary circulation. I hope this part is clear and everybody has understood this, and I'll be back with another short video on other topics that involves topics that is included in your 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th standard. I hope you liked today's video, and if you did, please hit the like button, share it among your friends and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done yet. And we'll be back with a very nice topic, and till then, stay happy, stay protected, stay with your family and always keep everybody happy around. Thank you and have a nice day.